And it says we are live. It's Thursday night. I'm here. You're beautiful. That must mean it's time for GotBot Goes live. I, of course, am your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe. And while you're at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit the notification bell. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes appear on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that in the description and down below. Also in the description, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Blokees or Blokees, whatever they're called. A little bit about a couple of releases. We're going to talk about I think it's Chinese exclusive, or I thought it was Chinese exclusive, Action Battlers, and how you can get them in North America. We're going to touch on new company Iron Warrior. We're going to cover a few notes and a bit of math about the W-Resources Metroplex. And of course, we're going to dive into the Titanic announcement this week of the age of the Primes Trypticon. Let me just adjust the camera there a little bit up. This, of course, is the first show of 2025. Wow, we are here. We made it to another year. I am not, like I said last week, I'm not sad to see 2024 go. Get out of here. It's time to look forward. It's time to get excited about what is still to come in the new year. Now, I don't actually have an unboxing tonight, though I will admit that I do have a box, but we're going to save that and open that next week. It is technically what I thought was going to be my first Christmas gift that was due way back on November 20th, but because Canada Post had a strike that started on November 15th and ran basically a month, it got delayed and only arrived now, which is funny because the tracking for it never ever did update. The tracking still doesn't say that it has arrived, even though it has. So we'll talk about that next week because we have a few things that I really want to kind of get into and cover this week. Hopefully we do not have the technical issues that we had last week. I'm really hoping we don't have technical issues like that. It was a pain. If we do, I'll say it now, if we have technical issues, though I'm really hoping and anticipating that we won't. But if we do, we'll end this one and we'll just go straight into a new stream. So anybody who's here now, who hears this, anybody who comes in, know that if we encounter a problem, we will go into a new stream. I hope that you guys had a tremendous new year. I hope that 2025 is starting off wonderful for you. I hope that 2025 is the best year for you yet. I'm not going to push the envelope myself, but I will say that I'm looking forward to seeing what 2025 can be. We had a quiet New Year's. We kind of stuck close to home. Our oldest was actually both of our sons were out. The youngest came home earlier. The oldest was out till later. So eventually I went and picked them up. But you know what? Overall, it was a lovely holiday season. It was a lovely new year as well. A couple of things that I want to mention before we get going as well. So I had somebody this past week. Hold on. I just want to I'm still fiddling with stuff here, so you got to bear with me a little bit, guys. Hope we're okay. So earlier this week, I had somebody argue with me about the Quake review and saying, well, no, you scored him too high. He's garbage. And I said, why? Why is he garbage? Like, I know that he got voted on the worst list, but I don't understand it. And he said, well, he doesn't look like the G1 toy with like his iconic shoulder pauldrons and stuff. I was like, he didn't have shoulder pauldrons in G1. I don't know what you're talking about. So the guy went on, and I said, look, you're entitled to your opinion, as is everyone. That's fair. That's fair. I think, and I'm going to say this now because I don't think I actually said it in the review. I may have in the intro or the outro, but I don't think I did. I know I said it in the comments. I think that Quake certainly would have benefited by being a Voyager class offering. In order to be a Voyager class offering, that would have allowed us to have a more finished, suitable front end to the tank, And a turret that could have been fuller, probably more pieces, and that could probably rotate. That said, in order to be a Voyager, as far as I'm concerned, you would have had to get rid of the garbage target masters that come with them that do nothing and actually include something articulated. At the very least, the 2 siege lads, and he would have had to be significantly larger than what he is to meet the mass requirement for a true blue Voyager, as far as I'm concerned. I think what happened was they took a Voyager design idea that they were able to derive from the Skullgrin mold, and I think that they altered it. I think that they cut out this and they thinned that down to make it a deluxe price point. In the end, what we got was, and I explained this to this guy, while it's not perfect, in the end, here's what we got in terms of a package, in terms of a value proposition for a deluxe. We got a 95-gram deluxe, much larger than the going rate right now for a deluxe. So we literally got more product. The articulation, other than the wrists, the articulation is all there. And other than the wrists, superior to the Titan's Return, though I love the Titan's Return Quake. In terms of the transformation, we actually have a brilliant transformation, involved, intricate, but not needlessly complex. Granted, the resulting tank does have its imperfections, but when you compare it to the Titan's Return, it also is a stylized tank. So neither tank is perfect, but I think for such a fringe character, both are acceptable. And here's the big one. The coloration. I said that the coloration was not perfect. In fact, I like the deeper colors of the Titan's Return, but objectively, the colors are pretty much there. If you look at it from a perspective of his numerous comic book appearances balanced with the G1 toy, since he wasn't in the cartoon. If you are strictly going to go by comic book appearances, then no, he is not the right color, certainly not all of the time. If you go strictly by the G1 toy, then no, he ain't the right color, not all the time. But if you balance the two, then you know what? I see what they were going for. I don't think that Quake should be on the top 10 list, but I think putting him on the bottom 10 list for the year was also a bit harsh. That's my take. I think that we as fans should really start looking at the totality of what we're being offered for a price point and ask ourselves, hey, is the total package worth it? Because when you look at the mass, when you look at the transformation scheme, when you look at the articulation, and in general, when you look at the colors, it's all there. Whether you like that particular iteration of Quake or not, that's a different story. Objectively, the value proposition is met. In fact, I would say the value proposition is exceeded. Subjectively, I still like the Titan's Return the best. And maybe you do too. And then there was another guy, and I don't like when people do this, and people do it all the time. And the guy really didn't let it go and really tried to talk down to me. And he made a declarative statement. And the declarative statement was that Heatwave is going to be a reuse of the Bulkhead Prime Breakdown mold. And I said, nothing has been stated for that, but what's your evidence? And he said, look at the artwork that they showed on a live stream. And I said, that's your evidence, artwork on a live stream. That's not evidence. That's not how evidence works. For you to make a declarative, for sure statement, you need to be able to back it up with facts, at least around my channel. I don't like when guesses or hunches or educated guesses are presented as for sure declarative statement facts. It's one thing to say, hey, I think this is going to be the case, or hey, I think that this mold will be the basis for it. And don't get me wrong, maybe he's right. Maybe the breakdown slash legacy bulkhead mold will be the basis for a Voyager class Heatwave. However, I've also seen AI and photoshopped ideas using the bulkhead mold, as well as the Power of the Primes Inferno mold, and those that have suggested that that mold might be used for Heatwave have also suggested that he will be released with 2 head variants, one to homage Rescue Bots and the other to homage him as the core of Nexus Prime. I've also seen the Studio Series Deluxe. I don't know how this would work for a Voyager, but Deluxe Optimus Prime, Transformers 1 Optimus Prime mold used. And I've also seen the Brave Optimus Prime, the Takara one, used with artwork. So referencing artwork is not evidence. Evidence would be it was stated by a designer. They showed a copy. They showed the CAD designs. Just showing a piece of artwork, I'm sorry, that's not evidence. Not enough to make a declarative statement. It would be evidence enough to say, hey, based on the artwork, I think they're probably going to use a version of this mold with a lot of things remolded. But that's not what the guy did. The guy said, it's going to be a reuse of Bulkhead. It's too simple, and that's a statement. Nothing that I just said to you guys there has been corroborated by any evidence whatsoever. If we're going by artwork, I remember back with Power of the Primes, not Power of the Primes, Combiner Wars, the little card. Remember the collector cards that came with the Prime Wars trilogy? I remember the collector card for Hotspot not being the Combiner Wars Hotspot artwork at all. The artwork for that was the earlier Grapple Inferno mold, which was used as a hotspot. I also look at something as recent as the Legacy United Soundwave, the leader class Soundwave. The Soundwave on the box, the artwork on the box is the core class Soundwave. So referencing some artwork, I'm sorry. And this was artwork that was shown in the like pipeline thing. It's not evidence enough to make a declarative statement. And I really, really wish that people would be more critical and know the difference between a fact backed up by logic and evidence versus an unsubstantiated opinion. I try to present you guys real value by way of, if I tell you something that's a fact, you can take it to the bank. It's a fact because the evidence suggests it. If I tell you something that's a guess of mine or of someone else's, I've always made it clear to you guys, hey, this is a guess, man. This is just a guess. Do not take this for fact. I've even said, hey, don't go and tell people that old GotBot said this or that. So when it comes to the Voyager class Heatwave, I can't wait for the guy. I think logic would say it should be a heavy remold of the Bulkhead breakdown mold. I think that would make sense. But it would need a completely new cab, a completely new chest, to say the very least. I also think it would need new lower legs, personally. I don't know what they would do for the whole canopy section to make that a fire engine. I would love to see this just be a whole new mold. Even if it borrows ideas from the Bulkhead breakdown mold. Much like I think the upcoming version of Armada Red Alert, while it's definitely not the like Cannonball, Crankcase, Medics mold, I also think it definitely borrowed from it. Just like Agent Knight isn't the Datsun mold, but it's certainly borrowed from transformation schemes used for the Datsuns. I feel like that they could borrow from transformation schemes used for Bulkhead and Breakdown, but I think that either you're going to have to do an awful lot of remolding if you want to use that mold, or you would have to do an entirely new mold that kind of uses that as a skeleton base for the design. Time will tell what we get when it's actually revealed. But that is all just speculation, my friends. But I wanted to address both of those things because I know that sometimes I do it in comments and stuff, and I know how harsh I sound. I get it. I'm not a nice guy. I get it. But sometimes it comes across differently when you actually use the words to explain it. So hopefully I've explained my view on the importance of facts backed up by multiple pieces of evidence. Hopefully. Hey, Tony, glad you're here. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Master Fire Lion. Happy New Year, Albert, Dragonfly, Big M. Big M, by the way, I saw your picture of your haul that you got. That was insane. That was a gigantic haul. I'm here, but down with a stomach bug. Oh, Oh, we all know that feeling. That's terrible. Feel better, my friend. Hey, Celestial. Hey, Marcus. Got Quake right before the year ended. I like Quake. Hey, D-Dog. I may pick up the redeco of Trypticon and swap out the almost pink parts from the first one. Paid $60 originally. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. And for the record, I am not against the new Trypticon at all. There's things I like about it, things I don't like about it. I'm going to use my Titan's Return to explain things that I like better about that one, that I like better about the Titan's Return, things to watch out for, especially if you missed it the first time around. We'll get into all that in a little bit, but I understand where you're coming from, Dragonfly. I absolutely do. Lots of news, but I'll wait until Dennis does his summary. Yeah. It's a kind of a light week for news. There was a lot of news last week. That's why, again, if you were here last week or if you only came in partway through last week, I now have, if you watch part one of last week's show and it cuts off at around 45 minutes or so when things froze, I actually now have linked at the end of that video the part two, so you can go right into the second part of the live show and see what the Christmas unboxing and stuff was last week. But we had some issues with some of the screen sharing stuff that started some of the freezing. And anyway, it all kind of went downhill from there. We're going to try something a little bit different tonight with that. There isn't an Energon Red Alert. I might have said Energon Red Alert. I think I meant Armada Red Alert. My mistake if I said Energon. Hold on. That went way down. That jumped way down on me. Hey, Francis. I'm very excited for Age of the Primes, actually. I like how that line seems to be shaping up. My 2024 was garbage. I'm glad it's over. I hope other people had a good 2024. Yeah, so far I think we're doing okay on the stream. Hey, you guys let me know, though, in the comments if we're having difficulties, please and thank you. Is Age of the Primes Prima Matrix the same mold as Earthrise Optimus Prime's Matrix? I think so. I don't know for sure. Honestly, Line, I really don't know for sure. In looking at it, I think so. But I feel like it was stated that it was a new mold. But I can't say that for sure. And just looking at what little we've seen of it yet, it seems like the same. But I feel like that's one of those things that we're really not going to know until it releases. For sure, right? Time will tell. But that's a good question, honestly, Line. Quake in hand is neat. He's not amazing, but I like him more than I thought. And that's the thing. I think he's better in hand than pictures and video do for him. Star Convoy is going to be great. I think he will be great too. I don't know if I'm in for him, but I have no doubt he's going to be a great Star Convoy. Hey, Bob. Have I seen Nosferatu? Like the old movie Nosferatu? Like the old black and white movie? Yeah, it was terrifying, actually. Quick and robot mode looks great, but not tank mode. I mean, everybody says that about tank mode, but like go back and look at the G1. The turret's a bit better, but if you look at the G1 next to the new one, the new one's not that far off. The G1 had a better turret, but its actual tank was not that great either. But you know what? Somebody pointed out that I never noticed, and I wouldn't because I'm not a tank aficionado. But they noted that with the new tank, the treads are together, and they said that's really weird because no tank actually has the treads together. I would have never noticed that. I'm not a tank guy. I would have never noticed that. But you know what? Fair criticism. And I don't know who it was now that pointed that out. Current tank formers need wheels. I don't know. I mean, everybody says that, but I don't know why. I've never had a tank former that has wheels that rolls well. They've always been compromised because of the treads. So I don't really care if they have wheels. But I mean, if you would like wheels, then I hope you get them. That's what I would say. I like how his tank barrel folds down and has somewhere to peg into the turret. Effective way to fix kibble. I agree. I absolutely agree. It's too bad that it can't rotate, but small price to pay. You know, again, that's a subjective thing, right? I hope we get Titan class Die Atlas. No, that would be too big for Diatlas. He's not that big. Diatlas isn't the Titan. That would make... I'm going to say that'd make no sense, but Titan's not what Titan used to be anymore. So what do I know? I'm not in for that at all. I don't even think I'm in for Star Convoy, to be honest with you. I mean, you know, I got the leader class one that I paid, I don't know, $85 or something for. I don't know why I would want to pay $205 for the new Titan one. I get it. It's bigger. It's probably better. It's just, I don't know if the trade-off is worth it to me. Legacy Quake getting too much hate. He's not perfect, but he's fine. Quake has a solid, clean face sculpt. That's true, too. Hey, Waspinator. Hey, Triple R. And Triple R loves Legacy Quake. There you go. Are you going to get Gamer Edition Devastation Optimus Prime? No. I'm not getting any more Optimus Primes. I have room in my display for one, and that's 86 now, which has pushed out the Earthrise. That's gone. I no longer have that. Somebody else has that. Yeah, no, I couldn't be less interested in... I don't want any more Optimus Primes ever. I don't want any more like Megatrons or Thundercrackers or Shockwaves or Starscreams or Soundwaves. I don't want any more of those. Any more coming out, I'm not interested. It's like the new Devastator. I'm sure the Studio Series 86 Devastator is going to be fine. I have my Combiner Wars. I don't see the new one as enough of an improvement to spend the extra money to get it. I understand that people do. I'm not against it. I don't think it's a bad product. I just don't think it needs to replace something in my collection. Same with the Devastation Optimus. I got nothing against it. I think it looks pretty neat for a deluxe. But to say that I need that or it has a place to fit in my collection, it just doesn't. I'm not against it. If you see it and want it, or you couldn't afford the 86 and you want a really good G1, I think this is a great way to go. I like the look of it. I like the Devastation Optimus. I just don't think I need it. Most Transformers in vehicle mode don't roll well, and why some tanks most don't. Yeah, I'm with you. Speculation is not fact. Exactly, right? I'm cool if you call it speculation. If the guy had just come back to me when I asked for evidence, if the guy just come back to me and said, "Well, I don't have evidence. This artwork looked like they would probably share parts, so I'm making a guess, or I'm making an educated guess," or if he had even just said at the beginning of it, "I think it's going to be," but he didn't. He said, "It is going to be." That's a declarative statement. And the problem with making statements that based on speculation rather than fact is that people will often take that speculation and then they'll run wild with it. And all of a sudden, something that's not true gets believed as a fact. So that might be fine for some channels and some people, but I want to try and keep things as informative as I possibly can. And that's not for me. That's for you guys. It's an integrity thing, right? But yeah, absolutely. Exactly what Triple R said. Speculation is not fact. Absolutely. Hey, Tetra. Hey, Joel. I want to get the G1 rocket base. The G1 rocket base is so cool. I don't own it, but I've reviewed it. And it's so good. Maximal 10 owns it. And man, that thing is so much fun. It is a bundle and a half of fun. And it opens out into such a cool Micromaster base. I love it. Triple H, I don't get ads. That's good. I'm glad you don't get ads. I try to close them when I can. Hey, no. A lot of people swore Cannonball was a pre-tool for Armada Red Alert. They did, and they are similar. I see that, but Red Alert is obviously his own thing. And if I said Energon, I apologize. It is Armada. That's on me. That's my mistake. Golly, that went down again. Can I say just stop by to say hi? Happy New Year to you, Triple R. Have a good one, buddy. Oh, maybe it's Cybertron Red Alert. I don't know. It's Unicron Trilogy, so I don't know what it is. It's not a new Trypticon per se. It's kind of a new Trypticon. We're going to talk about it, though. We're going to get there. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're going to get there. Hey, Screaming Eye Press. Neopulp Publishing. Interesting. Are you actually a publishing house? I mean, the author in me. Forget about GotBot for a second. The author in me is interested to know. Felon attorney from Oregon. Wrong account, but it'll do. Oh, interesting. Who are you normally? The plot thickens. Cannonball screams a red alert. I thought for sure it would. And a lot of people thought that. Absolutely. Is it cold up there in Labrador? I'm not in Labrador. I'm in Newfoundland. And the difference between where I'm to in Newfoundland and Labrador is real big. My understanding is Labrador is quite cold with quite a bit of snow. Right now, today, we're having 20 millimeters of rain, and I think it's like 5 degrees Celsius. So it's actually really mild here. Last week, we had a day where we were actually warmer and milder than Florida. So go figure. But global warming is not a thing. Okay. Chauncey, do you own your own publishing house? Oh, I'm curious now, buddy. I am very curious now. Love Trypticon. Wish we would get a new mold for Fortress Maximus. I don't know if you need a new mold, but I would say people need to get more creative with the way that they transform him into base mode. There's a ton of fan modes out there that look way more accurate than the official base mode for Fort Max. Just wanted to let you know, if y'all have Xbox, they have Transformers 1 on sale for $10, but it's only till 8 o'clock tonight Eastern Standard Time. Whew, that's pretty cool, though, if you wanted to, I guess, download, right, Blue Star? Hey, BS Prime. By the way, BS Prime, if you haven't checked out BS Prime on Instagram, check him out. He had some really great picks, really sweet picks for his top 10 for 2024. Super excited for Solus. Time will tell. Absolutely. I love Quake, but wish they gave him wheels to roll. And a lot of people said that one. They can remake Cybertron Red Alert from Cannonball, but people were saying it was a pre-tool for Voyager Red Alert. 1.5 hours from now, then. Yeah, about 1.5 hours. You got about that long if you want to, I guess, download it, I guess. Hey, Skybite, if you could pick one character to be a Titan class, who would it be? I'm the wrong guy to ask because I think all Titan classes that make sense have been done. Whatever they would do now as Titan class, I don't think is a real Titan. So I'm the wrong guy to ask. If I had to pick something, if I was pushed to pick something, I'd probably say Grandis, especially since they're doing Star Convoy. I would probably say Grandis next. But other than that, I don't think Titan is something that can continue in perpetuity. I think it ran its course a long time ago. But that's just me. They are definitely reworking what Titan is, because let's be realistic. Star Convoy isn't actually a Titan, but he's definitely Supreme class, right? I mean, he's 15 inches, so he's right there with like the Unicron trilogy, Primus and Unicron, and they were both Supreme class. So I would say that he's Supreme class, but I think that they're making Titan smaller because I think the days of like a 2-foot Titan, I think they have reached a point where it's like, you know what? It's a law of diminishing returns now. The price point that they have to ask for something that big now, or that they think they have to ask for something that big now, just makes it, is it even worth doing, right? That's a tough question. Really, really tough question. Okay, so we're going to try this. Let's see if this works. We're going to try and present some of the images and stuff a bit differently tonight than we normally do by doing it this way. Boom. Are we here? Are we still all okay? Is everything good? Are we all good and grand and great and wonderful? Hold on. I gotta. What is this? Interesting. Sorry about that, guys. Are we all still good? All good. Thumbs up. Yeah. Okay. Good. Who is your what least favorite of the 13? My least favorite of the 13? Probably Amalgamus. He's just always changing and shifting. He doesn't do a lot. Probably Amalgamus, just because he's kind of there and nothing happening. Okay, so first thing to note is Iron Warrior is doing a non-transforming version of the Transformers Prime Bumblebee. Great robot mode. I think it looks really neat. I love the look of this. It doesn't transform, but I tell you what it does put me in the mind of looking at these pictures. It very, very much puts me in the mind of it very, very much puts me in the mind of the first edition version of Bumblebee. I don't know what you guys think, but it very much puts me in the mind of the first edition Bumblebee, which isn't a bad thing. I also wanted to show this. This is a fan book. This is a fan book, and Akira is the guy doing it, and I think it's going to be signed, if I'm not mistaken. Looks really cool, showing a lot of artwork and whatnot for the 40th anniversary stuff. I guess if you're into art books and like schematics and early designs and that sort of stuff, then this is probably something that you might be interested in yourself. I don't think it's for me, but I'd understand if it's for you. Released in the US, and you can see an image right there. Released in the US is Studio Series 8 Blink and Studio Series 86 Galvatron. They are out in the US. They have been seen at multiple targets. Apparently, they won't scan yet. And certain targets will match Amazon pricing, apparently. But I don't know. Buyer beware. Take your chances. TFCon LA is going to welcome Jason Kanapisos. I have no idea how to say his name. He was the voice of Shockwave in Transformers 1. So he's going to be at TFCon LA March 7th to the 9th. Are we still all good? You guys let me know. Are we still doing okay? Minicon should be a core just to mess with us. I don't know. Oh, my Cronus should be a core just to mess with. I think my Cronus should be small. He's not going to be, but I think he should be small. I have a version of the 13 myself now. Some of them are customs. Some of them are from different continuities. Some of them are made up. Some of them are official. Some of them are third party. Some of them are not third party. My Micronus, however, is actually Micronus. The little teeny tiny Titan Master from Titan's Return that was, or maybe it was Power of the Primes, that was released in one of the Pretender shells. I can't remember who it was now, but it was Micronus. And I'm like, Micronus is the, prime of like the Micro Masters and stuff. So yeah, he should be tiny, right? My understanding is that Micronus is actually going to be more based on his RID 2015 version. That's what I've heard. Again, that's what I've heard. That's not anything substantiated. It is not a fact. I heard that it's likely to be based on the RID 2015 version of him, the one that like trains Optimus to return from the realm of the Primes. If you haven't seen RID 2015, go watch it. Favorite line and show. Main line, anything Chug is my favorite line. And show G1, followed by Prime, Beast Wars, and Earthspark. Yeah, YouTube Premium. Yeah, my wife has a trial, I think, on that, if I'm not mistaken. Am I going to buy the new pet, or just stick with your own? The new pet? I don't know what you mean. What pet? Oh, the new 13 Primes. Am I going to buy the new? I'm going to buy some of them. If I think that they make sense. Some are definitely going replaced. Some I won't. Like, for example, my Prima. My Prima is the deluxe Earthrise, or sorry, the deluxe Protoform Optimus from the original movie, because that was actually retconned to be a form of Prima. That's a deluxe. It's technically Optimus Prime, even though it was retconned to be Prima. But the new Prima is Prima, so I'm going to get Prima. My Solus is the MMC Salvia Promenon. I mean, I'm going to check out the official Solus Prime, but to say that I'm going to replace Salvia Promenon, I don't see it happening. I really don't see it happening. I have the Make Toys version of the Fallen. Again, I'll take a look at the new one. I don't know if it's going to replace my Make Toys version or not. Time will tell, but I'm excited for it. We'll see. That's a good question. We'll see. Some of them I think I will, but not all of them. The pet I think was the animal former in the DJD. Yeah, I'm getting that. Hatchet? Do you mean Hatchet? I'm getting Hatchet. Or do you mean the little? Do you mean the little? Oh, I don't know what it was. Like you're saying the pet in the DJD. I don't know what that is. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know what that is. Can you show all of your toys of the 13 primes? Not right now. No. No, not right now. But you know what? Throughout this year, you're gonna see them, right? Because it really depends on your 13. But I've looked at them all on the channel, right? So like I have a custom Onyx Prime, and that custom Onyx is made up of fossilizers. It's rough, but it's a custom Onyx. Can't wait for Onyx, by the way. Prime I just talked about. The 2015, the RID 2015 build a figure of Macadam. Macadam is, spoiler, Alchemist. So I use that BAF as Alchemist because it's Alchemist. I have a customized version of the movie Fallen, the original like 2009 Fallen, done up as Amalgamus. So I done a custom for that for Amalgamus. I have an RID. Was it RID 2015 or was it Cyberverse Quintesson? I think it was Cyberverse Quintesson, the one that came in that 3-pack, that trash 3-pack with Prowl and Shockwave. I done up a custom of that Quintesson as Quintus, so I look forward to an actual Quintus. Optimus is the Mysterious 13, so I have Optimus. Or if you prefer Star Convoy, I have Star Convoy. Who else is there? I already talked about my Fallen, my Megatronus being the Make Toys version. I talked about Solus. Who else is there? My Cronus I talked about. Alpha Trion, I have Alpha Trion, so I don't need to replace him. I think that's about 10 or so. My Nexus Prime is a custom. What I did is I actually got an all red version of Defensor, a KO Defensor, and I done that as Nexus Prime, and that's on the channel. You can check that out. So I actually already have a Nexus Prime that I'm real happy with, so I don't see me replacing it. Time will tell. But some of that was pretty good, honestly. Some of those questions were pretty good. If they only do Onyx like the images, all Centaur like, want to see how they pull that off. Yeah, I know, me too. What headmasters, target masters are due out besides the what? The Shorpanak? Do you mean Scorponok? Do you mean Scorponok reissue? I don't know of any headmasters or target masters that are due for reissues, but we're going to talk about that Scorponok too. The last time I was on your chat and chatting with you was about the Galaxy Shuttle Walmart exclusive we didn't get here on the West Coast. It's been released, and do you think it's worth a buy? I would say go back and watch my review. I think that the mold works better for Galaxy Shuttle than it did for Astro Train. So yes, I prefer the Galaxy Shuttle. I would say get it. When are you going to get back to doing the stop motion videos? Oh, man. You're saying, when am I going to get back to it? You know, I'm still working on the season 2 finale of Universal Collision. That, if you knew how gigantic that got out of hand, that became a lot more than I wanted it to be to get that finale done. And then some stuff happened in 2024 that really put me behind. Like I said, 2024 was awful. So I'm hoping this year to get that done and to get into season 3. So that's my plan. That's my hope. We'll see how the year unfolds. That was my plan last year, but the year went sideways. So stay tuned. Star spelled backwards is rats. That's true. They keep delaying Sure Shot to finish the original Autobot Target Masters. That's true. And maybe they'll release the Target Masters to coincide with them. I don't know. bigger headmasters if they do more. Looking forward to G2 Blue Grimlock. Really interesting. I'm not a G2 guy, but it's a great mold, so I can't argue it, right? I always got my Galaxy Shuttle accidentally sent to me. Nice. I'm just really excited. And I appreciate that, Skybite. I love when people are enthusiastic and excited. I just hope that people have patience. That's the best I can hope for. Okay, let's get back to some of the news here as we go down. We also have, I'm not going to go into this one, more of those e-hobby cards and stuff. Like, I don't care about those. There's like super deformed cards. I'm not going into those. I think this is like the third wave of them. There's a promotional video of Bumblebee, as well as promotional clothes of Bumblebee with, see if I can make sure I say this right now, I don't know what it is, some popular German soccer team. And this video has B127 from Transformers 1 playing soccer. But like that's a whole collaborative thing in Germany with the Bumblebee colors, because this soccer team apparently has black and yellow as their colors. Bumblebee, you get the comparison, right? As we go down here, James Roberts will be attending the the TF Nation like mini con. I think that's in March as well, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say in Birmingham, but I could be wrong about that. Sure Shot should be based on concept art Sunstreaker. I could see that. Not a bad idea. Yeah, we did have Galaxy Shuttles that went on clearance at the time. Be interesting to see what happens with the new one. I got a G2 concept yellow Grimlock for $25 from the Toxitron set. Would I rather watch Transformers or the Prime Wars trilogy? Watch which Transformers or the Prime Wars trilogy? I like the Prime Wars trilogy. I like Transformers. I'm not sure what you're asking, buddy. I'm Australian. Walmart, Target, and Comic-Con exclusives get a general release here. Comic-Con exclusives get a general release there. Lucky, though. That's really cool. As we go down here, Funko. So, okay, Funko is doing, I'm going to go into this. Funko is doing wave 2 of their digital pops. And like wave 1, you got to get these like NFT BS tokens, and then you have to redeem them in. And when you redeem them in, you're able to get a G1 Ultra Magnus pictured here. You're able to get a G1 Blitzwing pictured here, or a G1 RC not pictured here, or a Beast Wars Cheetor pictured here. They are at the legendary level. I guess they will have 2,000 of them produced. So that's Magnus, Blitzwing, RC, and Cheetor. Then the metallic King Starscream, which you can see Starscream there in that picture. He is going to be a Grail with only 999 copies. And Freddy Funko as Grimlock is going to be royalty level with 2,600 copies. Yeah, okay. I guess if you're into that, I guess. I'm not into paying for digital tokens and nonsense like that, even if you can trade them in for a pop. I'm not a pop guy. If you are, then I don't know. You could just release these in stores. That seems like a lot of effort for a little reward to me, but I don't know. What do I know, right? What do I know? Let's go back here a little bit. We're going to go over here, and I'm going to take a look at this. So Blokees, of course, they are doing their next wave. We have seen a lot of these guys. By the way, again, let me know if we are having any issues here, but it doesn't seem like. It seems like we're doing pretty good, hey? Hunting Rosses for Twincast. You know what? I don't want Twincast, but man, if anybody at any point ends up with a spare rewind, and they're like, I don't really want the rewind, or, I could sell that off to old GotBot for $5 or something. Like, let me know. I don't want Twincast, but I'd love to have the little rewind to go with eject. Just saying. I mean, would you rather watch? Which show would you rather watch? G1. G1 is. I'm always going to pick G1 as my first show. I said that. G1, then Prime. Sorry, G1 Beast Wars, G1 / Beast Wars, because it's all the same continuity. Then Prime, and then Earthspark. I think they're the 4 best fiction that we've had. So far, we're okay. We're good. Okay, good. All right. All right. Maybe this is a good way to do it then in the future. But yeah, so we talked about these a bit last week, and I tried to show them off, but it didn't really work out so well. This is Stormbringer Optimus and IDW Megatron. Again, a little bit super deformed. By the way, there's a, I don't know what it's called. It's like a Blokees Elite or something. Transformers 1 Starscream. He looks really cool as well. Not shown in these images. I think the G1 Insecticons look good. Like, that's a great looking kickback, honestly. I think Swoop in both modes looks good. These don't transform, but you can get 2 different iterations of Swoop. I think that looks so cool. I really, really, really like this. I like the Wheeljack. I get that as G1, but I got to be honest. I look at this and I think more like a stylized version of the Bumblebee movie. Wheeljack than I think of him as a G1. I think this is a good G1 Sunstreaker, though. I think it's a real nice Sunstreaker. Dirge looks pretty good, but again, these are a little bit super deformed. And Shattered Glass Ratchet. Love how maniacal he looks. This is a Chase exclusive, like holographic or whatever, Optimus Prime in all blue or something. It's really weird. So there you go. We were actually able to see these this time. Didn't see them last week. We're going to come back to this. Go past it for now, down to here. In-hand images of Megatronus. And not for nothing, like, he looks bulky. He comes with a ton of accessories, which I like, because he's going to need them if he's going to try and be a commander class. I like that above his left shoulder, he has, something sticking up a la Megatron, since, the Megatronus archetype is for Megatron's body type. I'm assuming on his arm, that's not a fusion cannon. I'm assuming that's the Requiem blaster attached to his arm, I'm guessing. Looks very solid. I mean, I don't see much, if any, hollowness here. I do like that he has his staff. I mean, as far as leader class goes, here he is with the Galvatron. I still think the Galvatron looks a little too blue for my taste. I still think I prefer the coloration of the Kingdom. But if you see this Galvatron and you feel like he jumped off the TV screen the way you remember his coloration in the cartoon in the movie, then get this. Get this. Absolutely. I can't say not to, because the Galvatron mold is fantastic. Love it. I like the articulation here. Not much. I mean, this was like, I think, was this Mark Marr? I'm not sure. Big, honk and chunky tank. Shown next here to the Transformers 1 version of Megatron. Underneath, like, it looks pretty clean, a pretty clean H tank. Like, I like this. I like this for a Megatronus. I really do. I'm really actually quite impressed with it. I don't know if you guys are. And I like that you can put the flame deco and detail on him, as he should have, because, he should have that, right? Can't wait for the Primes. I only started collecting Transformers after seeing Studio Series RC at the end of 23. Feel like I've started collecting just a new golden age. You might be right, Matthew. Honestly, certainly for getting the Primes, I think you have hit on a really good time. Galvatron is blurple. See, to me, I just remember him as the dark purple. Like, I think the Kingdom is right. Maybe I'm thinking of the season 3 rather than the movie. I don't know. What happened to your channel name? I don't know. What's your channel name, Alan? Who are you normally? Been a long time. I'm glad you're here. Is Peter Cullen going to TFCon LA? I don't know. I would imagine. I can't remember if he was announced or not. I don't really follow the cons because I can't go to any of them. I'll never be able to go to any of them, right? I thought BBTS had Twincast for $20. I seen it for 20 somewhere. I mean, it might, but that would be 20 US, and BBTS is garbage outside of the US. I've never ordered anything from there without getting hit hard by customs. Not a little bit, hit hard by customs. So I stopped using them. I stopped using BBTS a decade ago because I was like, you know what? I'm already paying you, a higher amount than I would like. Your shipping is not cheap. I get $4 flat rate in the US, but outside their shipping's not cheap. And then I get hit with customs on top of it. I prefer TF Source, honestly. I know TF Source gets a hard name, but I never ever had an issue with them and never ever once got hit with customs by them. And never overpaid, even though I know that they do that now. Has anyone seen stop motion for Straxus yet? I have not. Favorite G1 episode? I don't know. I'm not. You're asking the wrong guy. I'm not an episode guy. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to answer that. I don't know the names of episodes. Can't wait for the primes. I only started collecting. I already read that one. 86 Cyclonus will fix the yellowing issue. If they do an 86 Cyclonus, and will it fix the yellowing issue? I mean, again, Marcus, see, this is what I was talking about earlier. SS86 Cyclonus will fix the yellowing issues. First, nothing has been said that we're getting an 86 Cyclonus. There is no evidence to support that that's happening. Second, nothing says if they do it that anything will be done to fix any yellowing issue. That's your hope. That is not a statement. Don't say those things. I think the 86 Galvy coloring looks a bit closer to the movie, but I like the deeper purple. See, I own the movie, and in my copy of it, he's the dark purple. I don't know if it's my TV. I don't know if it's the copy that I got or whatever, but like this blue color, it's not the way I remember him. But cool if he's the way you remember him, right? I have the toy accurate Cyclonus version, so I'm good on yellowing. Mine didn't really yellow that much. A little bit, but nothing like some people's have. I'm going to have to find a way to change my channel name. The corporate man says he can't miss the money. Oh, listen, the corporate man would definitely be behind that idea. I promise you. I kind of want the Megatronus now. Oh, I definitely want the Megatronus. We also have this Earthspark Smash Changer. Like, stop. Like, just stop. Why? This is not going to sell. Maybe it will where you are, but here, I'm going to just say, here, children aren't stupid. And this won't sell because children will look at this and realize this is junk and I'm not going to waste my money on it. Or their parents will have the good sense to look at this and say, this is garbage. I'm not wasting my hard-earned money on this. Look at this. Look at this. Don't buy this. Don't buy this. This is junk. This is a waste of plastic, a waste of development, a waste of money. Garbage, garbage. Love Earthspark. Don't. Just don't. That's all. That's what your boy's going to. Like Nancy Reagan used to say, just don't, right? Except we're talking about two different things. Takara showing the MP Ginrai and the MPG. I'm not going to go through the videos, but we've seen the images of them a ton of times. And I think that's the last. Yeah, it is. The show is, well, before we talk about Trypticon, is this. And this is the Bingo Sports Optimus Prime collaboration. And like, don't get me wrong, I think this thing looks really cool. I love the paint on this car. And apparently there is like an actual Optimus Prime race car, like a real life race car painted with this same deco, is my understanding, that like actually like competes in races. If this looks somewhat familiar to you, it's because it's a heavy remold of the Studio Series. I think it was 92. Age of Extinction Crosshairs. So it's the Crosshairs mold. It's a deluxe. What I don't like is, as great as the paint apps are on the car, look at this. So much unpainted gray plastic. Like the face has some highlights in blue. The chest does have blue and red detailing on the sides of the chest and some gold detailing, but then everything is just left this like boring, bland gray. The feet, all gray. And I don't mind gray, but like, look at all that gray that I really think needed to be picked out in silver. I think that the robot mode of this suffers tremendously for the car mode. Look at it. It's not bad molding. It's not a bad molding at all for an adaptation of Optimus Prime. I get where they're coming from by adapting movie Optimus into this car mode. It's just, that's a lot of unpainted off-white gray plastic. And I get that all the detail and love went into the car mode. But man, you should have saved something, taillights or something for that robot mode. This looks beautiful in car mode, but I think you'd really have to be into motorsports for this to speak to you. Maybe I'm wrong. And then that finally brings us to the biggest of the I don't want to say the biggest of the news because it's not, but the biggest of the news that we're going to show a picture for. And it's this. And right here, my friends, we have two versions of Trypticon. I think both are tremendous. I really, really, really do. I kind of want that Megatron. That's trash. I'm assuming you're talking about the Optimus. This is why Earthspark gets a bad rap. Hasbro wasting money on plastic that'll go on the deep clearance. You're right. You're right. That does not help. The one change Transformers don't move. See? And that's where? That's Kmart in Australia. Like literally the other side of the world and still junk. Yeah, everybody's sick of the kitty stuff. Kids don't even want it. That's true. I'll change that after, I guess, if that's full. Is that full? Yeah, okay, I'll change that after. Kmart here is a separate entity. What? So we have two versions of Trypticon here. The Titan's Return, which is the original that anybody who already owns a Trypticon or Titan class Trypticon has, and the upcoming Age of the Primes. Here's what I'm going to say looking at both of them. I'm a bit confused why the translucent section on the head of the Titan's Return here is red. I have never seen that before. Mine has a very clear orange head. I don't know if they changed the orange to red when this guy was reissued in, I want to say like 2019. I don't know, or if it's just the light. But my Titan's Return does have orange, just like the new Age of the Primes one does. The Age of the Primes one being a darker, and I'll say shinier gray, a gunmetal gray, almost a black, I do like better. Right down under where we have, what's his name? Full Tilt. Down where the two sections of the very lower tummy fold out on the Titan's Return, we have like green hinges. On the new one, those hinges are the same color, very dark gray as the body. I very, very much like that. The gray used for around the neck and stuff, I think that's all fine. There will be no translucent plastic other than the piece on the head and in the hips. I guess the hip joint. That'll be translucent orange. All of the translucent green will be replaced with like a mint green. You'll also notice that the Titan's Return by the arm, part of the hinge, shoulder hinge, I guess, is purple. On the new one, all of that is also going to be the kind of dark gray, almost black color. When we scroll down a little bit and see if I can, hold on. Let's just bring this one up. Maybe I'm not going to be able to bring it up the way I want it. It's not going to quite come up the way I want it. You'll notice on the knees. Yeah, that's fine. The knees on one are all gray. The knees on the other do have green highlights. The green highlights are correct. In fact, I painted some green highlights on my Titan's Return one. I like the Age of the Primes one. And I think it definitely has a place. And we're going to talk about it in a minute. Do I think I need to replace my Titan's Return? No. Do I understand if you feel a need to replace yours? Yes, for a number of reasons. If you missed out on the Titan's Return or the reissue, should you go back and hunt that one down or get the Age of the Primes? I would say get the Age of the Primes. The one thing that people seem to have an issue with the Age of the Primes, and I agree with, is why is the purple this like fuchsia pink type of color? And I don't know the reasoning any more than you, other than in some of the animation, sometimes the way the purple came across, it almost looked pink. As I think Dragonfly said, if you could take the purple off the Titan's Return and put that onto the new one, I think it would look better. That said, some people might argue and say that would all look too dark. I think that the Titan's Return version is more a toy-accurate coloration for the most part. I think the Age of the Primes is going for an animation-accurate look. But I think the fuchsia is off the mark. I think the green is spot on. I think the translucent orange is spot on. I think the Darker gray is spot on to the animation, but I don't think the fuchsia is. Other thing worth noting, no stickers to be applied on the Age of the Primes one. Everything on him is going to be paint apps. Now, let me close that out if I may. And I'm just going to go back here. I'm just going to check in with you guys very quickly here for just a moment. And then we're going to do trivia. And then I'm actually going to get my Trypticon up here on camera with us, and we're going to talk about a few things. But we have to go through another couple of pieces of news. So stick with me here. I'm good with the Titans Return Trypticon, but happy for people who missed it or want a more cartoon accurate deco. Kmart is the bomb here. No chance of going broke. That's good. I'm glad. The dark gray is a great color for everything, for your towels, car. Yes, you're right. Sheets. Everything. You're right. That dark, like gunmetal-y gray is. It's what my car. It's what my car is. So you haven't got to sell me on it. Hope they fix the hips, says Boss Gunny, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. Switch the purple around on those Trypticons, and it's perfect. Hey, Sovereign. Had a moment stop by. Listen, I'm glad that you stopped by anyway, buddy, especially if you're busy. More G2 colored on Trypticon. Hope they re-release Brunt in that lighter pink purple color to match the new Trypticon. I would assume this Trypticon, though it's Age of the Primes, I would assume it will be released as selects. And I gotta believe they're gonna redo Brunt in that lighter color to go with him. Again, as a selects release, I would think. Paint over stickers any day. Agreed. What characters are on the poster behind me? That's not a poster. That behind me is a banner of my logo. And there are tons of characters in there that are all colored out and altered and changed. What I will tell you, and I'm going to let everybody in on this because nobody knows this, the main one, the biggest one right here, is Titan class Metroplex. All these other ones, I don't remember who they are offhand. Dark gray is a man's color. You're right. Well, full tilt is on his chest. So full tilt is already being done, right? As that color anyway. So full tilt is there. As is Necro, the little headmaster unit. He's also there. Legally distinct Transformers. That's right. Exactly. So let's run through the news real quick. And I'm going to actually give you guys the trivia right now, because I'm not doing the unboxing tonight, remember? I'm going to do the trivia now, then we're going to go through the bit of news, and I'm going to bring my Trypticon up here to talk about a couple of things with them. So, let's do the trivia, get that out of the way. Are you listening? Are you listening? Here we go. The Quintessons are known for creating, or at least manipulating, the Transformers into believing that they were created by the Quintessons. However, long before the Transformers, the Quintessons did create transorganics. These were very early experiments, and they do predate the Transformers as a race. There are 7 known transorganics created by the Quintessons. Which of the following was not one of the 7 transorganics made by the Quintessons? A metallicized bird, that's A. B, a horse with thrusters and lasers. C, a half-robotic bear. Or D, an ankylosauric creature. So a creature that's kind of like an ankylosaurus. So was it A, a metallic bird, B, a horse with thrusters and lasers, C, a half-robotic bear, or D, an ankylosauric creature? Which one of them was not a transorganic created by the Quintessons? We have C, we have horse. I'm going to guess D, no idea. We have a C, B, and I am shouting in the dark. B, line says C. We have a B, a C, going between B and C. Was this in... No. This was not in any of the cartoons. This was something that ended up getting explained kind of offhandedly and after the fact when we learn more about the Quintessons. No, not a shark. No, I didn't say Sharkticon. That wasn't a choice. It was Are you ready? B, the horse with thrusters and lasers. So when we found out about the transorganics, we found out that there was a metallicized bird. We found out that there was a half robotic bear, an ankylosaurus kind of creature. There was a gorilla with green tendrils, like a large metallic white snake, and a frog with a bear trap on its back. But all 6 of them got devoured by, you're going to know this one, the Dweller. Remember the Dweller in the depths? The Dweller ate all 6 of those other transorganic creatures because that was also a Quintesson creation. So B, the horse, was not a thing. Not a thing. In terms of the news, Trypticon, we have a little bit more to talk about. Oh, I definitely missed something there. Marcus, you are absolutely the man. The Quintessons did not make the ice cream I ate yesterday. C was a what? Beast Wars creation? The half robotic bear? Was it? Well, not that half robotic bear. GoBots were humans that had their consciousness transferred into robotic bodies. Interesting comparison. I don't remember if it was humans. They were humanoid that went to metallic bodies, but I don't think it was humans. I think it was an alien race that were humanoid. Maybe it was humans, but I didn't think it was humans. Super 7 needs to make Dweller in the Depths. Maybe. That's interesting. Why did they kill all the defendants? The Dweller. No, the Dweller ate them because the Dweller is always looking for energy and saw them as a source of energy. So he ate his brethren. Basically, he was kind of a cannibal. Hey Tanya, what's your thoughts on the W-Resources Metroplex? We're going to get there in just a second. Funny you mentioned that because I actually have some math and some thoughts on that thing. I ended the year with Legacy Cannonball, Missing Link Sentinel. Cool. And mail-away exclusive Ricochet. Oh, yeah, the Ricochet. Right, Hot Wheels Brothers. I did not know your name was Alan. They should make a Dweller. Okay. We talked about the Bingo Sports Optimus Prime, the Earthrise Smash Changers Junk, the Megatronus in hand, the Blokees, the Funko Digitals. We already went through. We went through James Roberts being at the TF Nation Minicon. We went through the super deformed Chibi hobby cards. There were some more images of Romulus in hand, showing him next to Earthrise Optimus because that's who he scales with. The voice of Transformers 1 Shockwave, going to be at TFCon LA. By the way, if you are interested, and I showed these last week and I think the week before, if you're interested in the Transformers Action Battlers, they don't transform. They're fairly small. I said I believe that they're only available in China, maybe Asia. I'm not sure. Well, BBTS will have them. You can buy a blind box of 6 random blind box versions of the Action Battlers for $29.99 from BBTS. I don't know. I don't like blind box stuff. What if you got 6 of the same one and you paid $30 for it? I'd be livid. Wouldn't be for me. And we talked about the Iron Warrior Bumblebee. Now, before I bring Trypticon up here and talk about him, let's go to the W-Resources. Gigantic, 4 foot tall, with his cannon, with his shoulder cannons in. He's more like 5 feet. Version of Metroplex. First things first. The fact that this even exists is amazing. I think it belongs like in a Transformers type of museum. I don't think it has any place in someone's personal collection. I think it's ludicrous to even suggest to get it. And here's why I think it's ludicrous. First, I did the pricing, and I can only do it again based on what I've got, what I've been told, and I really have to do it from a Canadian standpoint. But I did it because it came up first that somebody said, hey, if you do shipment by boat, he's $955. And then some people said, no, that's not quite right. He's $1,000, and you already had $100 down. So he's $1,100 US by boat. I said, that's insane. Like, this is a toy, and you're spending over $1,000. I get it. It's a gigantic thing. I get it. But that's a lot of coin to put down. And then somebody said, by ear is even worse. it's over 1,600 US. I was like, that's insane. Almost going, 1,500 on the road to $2,000 US for a Metroplex is nuts. I said, what would it be in Canadian dollars? So I did the math. With the conversion, with boat shipping, and taxes included, because nobody talks about the taxes, that's $2,009.42 Canadian. $2,009. My wife in 2014 was in an accident and she ended up replacing her car for $3,000. This toy is over $2,000. Then it's going to come in 4 boxes, internationally shipped, which means all 4 of those boxes are going to get hit with customs. Based on my experience with customs, I would reckon in Canada that's between another $500 to $800. So this would be a $2,500 to $2,800 Metroplex. Then I said, okay, that's expensive. The thing is huge. I understand the pricing, but it's ludicrous. It's one of those, just because you can make this, I don't think you should. And quite frankly, if you're buying this, I really got to be honest and say you either have more money than sense, or you are so wildly addicted that you're willing to put yourself that much in debt for a Metroplex that you should really seek help. Because what happens when they follow this with a 4-foot Trypticon and a 4-foot Fortress Maximus and a 4-foot Scorpion? Where are you putting all of these? Because here's the other kicker. It is recommended that you do not leave this Metroplex in robot mode for long periods, as he should not be displayed standing up because of his heavy ratchet joints and the strain of the weight on them. It is advised by W-Resources / Lewin Resources that you get this Metroplex and that you put him in city mode for display purposes, which means you are expected to get this gigantic Metroplex, and either you have to sit him down somewhere in your house, or to avoid him from breaking, you're going to have to put him in city mode and find somewhere in your house to just leave this huge, gigantic, splayed out city. And if you have the Titan, you know that city mode is big enough. You do it with this guy, I'm telling you now that's taking up significant real estate in your house. If you have the space, cool. I think a lot of people want this, and I think a lot of people are going to have the same experience that they had when they ordered the HasLab Unicron, except worse. And this thing is going to show up, and they're going to say, I have nowhere to put this. And they're going to try and sell it. And silly, they're going to try and sell it for profit. I think it's cool it exists. I think it's beautiful. I think it's preposterous. I think it's brilliant. I think it's idiotic. I think it's wonderful. And I think it's awful, all at the same time. I've seen the arms and the legs and the hips all being moved. And those ratchets are so incredibly nuts, bonkers heavy that I wouldn't want to be the one trying to move it, because the whole thing shakes when you're trying to bend an arm. It's cool that it exists, but as a consumer good, as a purchasable consumer good, I think it's absolutely preposterous that any company would try and just sell this as a consumer good. Now, as I say all of that, I have also heard, I cannot confirm this, but I have heard that Shozi has now shut down any orders to North America because it will not ship to North America for this particular product. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I have started to hear. So I don't know. If you're in on it, that's your business, but I don't see anything to be proud of. I don't envy you for it. I pity you. Not because it's not magnificent. It is. But I pity you because I think that you are expecting this to be an experience different from what the actual experience will be. I think it's too big to be practical or realistic. It's like the dude that printed that like 6-foot Metroplex. And I remember seeing the review of that. And it was 3D printed. And And like the dude was popping sweat when he was trying to convert it and stuff. Like it was nuts. So I think it's brilliant. I think it's beautiful, but I think it's nuts. Okay, now, last thing, and then we can get out of here. If I had room, though, right? Exactly. If I had room. All the best in the new year to you too, Zoran. Yeah, you did tell me that about your Sentinel Prime, Alan. Hey, Nautilus. Before I buy Trypticon, how do I know I really like him? It's a want and not want when I see reviews of him, but I loved getting my tidal wave. Okay, well, I'm going to actually talk about that now for a second. I need a car seat. Hot Wheels Gold Bug, cool. Got a blind box on Woot. Okay. Canadian dollars and Aussie dollars are about equal. Anything over 350 is too much. I'm right there with you, Matthew. That's kind of my cutoff as well. Absolutely agree, buddy. Who knew Metro would be so complex? Yeah. I'd rather spend $1,500 on the Metroplex version, $1,500 on anything made by Robeson. I mean, that's fair, honestly. It was on the cartoon G1 Season 3, Episode 18, Dweller in the Depths. There you go. I got to see what you guys are saying here. Bear with me a second, and then I'm going to bring Metro Trypticon up here. GoBots were go beings and were similar to humans. There you go. If I spend over $2,000 on a toy, the divorce. Oh, listen. When I saw it, I was like, where are you going to put this? Who has the money for this? When is your wife going to let you back in the house? Like, I wouldn't even suggest that to Starscream wife. Not because I can't afford it, because I know I could afford it, but like, I don't want to. I don't want it. That's the thing. I see it and I'm like, no, that's too much, Bob. You know? Throwback to Price is Right. I know someone said the Metroplex isn't a toy, but a collector item. So you're going to spend $2,000 to have this big hunk of plastic that literally just sits in your floor, that once in a while you might put in a robot mode and strike a pose and take a picture. I don't see the point of that. Use your $2,000 and invest it. One day you're going to want to retire. And I got news for you. You ain't going to resell that Metroplex for profit. Not happening. You're wondering if I get charged twice for the boat shipping? No, that was a flat rate boat shipping to Canada. Interesting call, though. I made the joke, if you never have a child, you can now buy an 8-year-old. You're not wrong, Tony. The Metroplex is for people with more money than sense. Sounds like it's easier to live in the U.S. and order from Canada than it is to live in Canada and order from the U.S. Yes, that's true. That's absolutely 100% true. Yes, you're right. At least for now, until January 20th or something. Then all of that's going to go down the toilet. The economy in North America is about to get real bad, real fast. I miss North American Free Trade Agreement. That was real good for us and the U.S. and Mexico. Someone decided that they didn't want to do that, though. We'll see how that goes. If GotBot bought that Metroplex, Starscream wife would be in jail for murder. Have you met my wife? You got her figured out pretty good. Metroplex could sit in the passenger seat. I can live without it. Yeah, me too. When you build something that's so big it self-destructs from its own weight, you went too big. Yes, I agree. For $1,000 Metroplex reminds me of the new G1 G.I. Joe flag being sold that is 12 feet long. That's insane. I think a lot of people who order that Metroplex are going to get divorced. I think a lot of people are going to cancel their orders, is what I think is going to happen. And like, let's say you're not married. How do you explain that in the middle of your house on the floor to like a prospective mate? Oh yeah, this is my 4-foot Metroplex. He just stays here in the middle of the floor forever. I don't know. It just seems nuts to me, man. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Right? That's the way I see it. He's so stupid. And he's so stupid and he's so cool. Yes. Yes. He is. Hey, Adrian, how much is that Metroplex? In US dollars, about 1,100, unless you're going to have air shipment, then about 1,600. In Canada, $2,000, little more, little north of $2,000, maybe 2,500 all in. Claim Metroplex as a dependent on your taxes. Did you add in the Trump import tariffs? No, I did not add in the tariffs. Oh, yeah, that's going to be terrible as well. Just terrible. I would pay for a big Metroplex if it was just a cool display shelf that doesn't transform. Maybe, but I mean, you could make that out of wood and paint it, right? Not being political, but North America is going to be a disaster for postage when they defend USP. Oh, yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right, Matthew. I agree with you 100%. When I was 10, getting Fortress Maximus was big to me. I think 4-foot Fortress Maximus would be better than Metroplex. I mean, I don't think a 4-foot anything makes sense. I think a 4-foot anything is preposterous for a toy. I think 2 is pushing it as it is. A lot more people are not from the U.S. A lot of people are, but a lot more people aren't. Years ago, I asked about bringing a child into the home. I was told, sure, but I would have to move out. Yeah, I remember that actually, Anthony. I actually remember that, buddy. Metroplex's furniture. I got a feeling if they were going to do a Fortress Maximus, it would be 5 to 6 feet, and that'd be preposterous. Okay, so let's do this so I can get out of here. This is my Trypticon, and I love him. Luckily, I avoided the QC issues that a lot of people had. So let's kind of go through what you have to watch out for. If you are going to get Trypticon, whether you go back and get the Titan's Return or you're going to get the Age of the Primes, I would hope that oh, by the way, I don't know if you can see this or not. My knees, I painted part of it green. And I have a lot of, though I'm not a Toy Hacks guy, I actually have Toy Hacks labels all over this guy. So he's super detailed. Anyway, the first thing to note is the chest on many copies falls down. Some people have blamed that on the translucent plastic. My chest is fine. I've never had an issue with it falling down or otherwise. When it comes to opening at the sides of the body, for the love of God, remember to push the little release button down here so that you don't break anything, because that would be a real shame for what is a brilliant Titan. I didn't have the chest problem, but people did. Then we have the tail. A lot of people said their tail would not stay up. I mean, I can shake mine. Again, my tail is just fine. But I would hope that any looseness or issues with the ratchets back here have also been addressed in the Age of the Primes version. So that's chest and that's tail. Then we get to the hips. This orange and the orange on the head will still, and I assume the little bit of orange maybe way back here, will probably be left on the Age of the Primes one. But then we get to the hips, and this was mentioned earlier. Early copies of the Titan's Return had an issue where the spring was too strong, and the hips, the whole like crossbar mechanism inside the hip got destroyed, mutilated. So there was a fix that said, hey, open up the hip and basically cut the spring in half. Put half a spring back in along with some cardboard as like extra padding, and your hips will move fine. Now, on mine, this hip always moved fine. Was never any problem. This hip always had a hard click. So a couple of days ago, I said, you know what? I'm going to take this hip apart and see if mine is destroyed. Now, my box at the time that I got him had embossed on it a batch number that was noted as being a batch where the hip was fine. A later run, not one of the initial runs. So I opened mine up, even though it had a heavy click, and my hip was fine. There wasn't any issue with it. The click was heavy, but the spring was fine. All the plastic was fine. The crossbar inside the hip was fine. They say when you open the hip, there's a green section around a black section on the hip. They say take out the 2 screws on the green section, and there's a 3rd screw going through that connects the 2 green pieces together. They say take all that off. I didn't do that. I took out 2 screws. I loosened one, and I took out the one connecting the green pieces. Then I didn't even loosen the other one. Then there are 2 black sections held together by 2 screws. Take them apart, but be careful because now the spring is going to want to pop out the ratcheted teeth section. What I did, rather than cut my spring, because I was like, man, I don't want to cut my spring. I actually, Starscream Wife recently bought a set of vices, not vice grips, actual vices. I put it in a vise for about 4 hours. And then when I took it out, I compressed and released it just with my fingers while watching TV for about 20 minutes. And then I put it back in. Now that I had it like loosened up, I put it back in, I put it all together. And now this hip over here on this side, no hard click. It works just as good as this hip. So I don't have the hip issues. I don't have the chest issue. I don't have the sides falling open issue if you broke your mechanism. I don't have the tail falling issue. Mine is covered in toy hacks, and mine, because it was a later run, and I only realized this recently, mine has the asymmetrical towers. Earlier runs had the symmetrical towers. I don't know if the new one will have the asymmetrical towers or the symmetrical towers. Here's what I would say. I hope the chest is fixed. I hope the hips are fixed. And I hope that the tail is taken care of. In terms of the look, I think the new one is spectacular. Because mine has no issues, I don't feel like rolling the dice and gambling. I don't need to. Mine is great. I'm keeping my Titan's Return. But if your Titan's Return had any or all of those QC issues, get the Age of the Primes. Surely they have put in at least enough effort to fix those issues. If you prefer the color, I could understand that. Try the Age of the Primes, but I would not get rid of, like, say you want that color. Don't get rid of your Titan's Return until you have the Age of the Primes and know that it has no QC issues. Keep the best copy. And you know what? If you're like a couple of people in here who never ever collected before the last couple of years, do yourself a favor and get Trypticon. He's splendid. My only concern, and people said like they were so happy to get Tidal Wave. Great. Fort Max has just been reissued like in December, and people got him again in December. So that's one Titan. Tidal Wave was a second Titan just within this calendar year. Now that we're in this year, in a couple of months, there is a reissue of Scorponok that's going to come out. That's 3 Titans. There are also pre-orders up for December of 2025 for Siege Omega Supreme. That's 4 Titans in 1 year. And now Trypticon is also getting a reissue this year. That's 5 Titans in 1 year. Plus Star Convoy coming out. I don't know where people are getting the money to pay for all of these Titans in such a short time span. I have a good job, and I wouldn't be able to do it. It would be too much. I'm interested to see the price. My Trypticon in Canadian dollars was $229. I got them a little bit cheaper. $217, I think I got them for. The new one, I suspect, will be $299 Canadian. Maybe a bit more, maybe 3 something, but I'm expecting $299 Canadian. So I'm expecting him to be about 200 or so US. It'll be interesting to see what the prices actually are. I think that getting all of these Titans again and getting them reissued makes sense. I think it's wonderful for fans that didn't get them. I'm scared that they're trying to do too much too soon. And the one Titan that they have yet to reissue and the one that fans want the most is probably going to be Metroplex. Time will tell. And on that note, my friends, I'm going to get out of here. I love you all. Thank you for coming by for the very first show of 2025. Oh, I appreciate you giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. Don't forget to also hit the subscribe button. Stick around and have some fun with us here on the channel. And especially don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single solitary day, you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams right here on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way inside the videos. Until next week, my friends.